Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiv Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudite Nashtaprayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, third chapter, text number 40 onwards. Now there are 3 or 4 verses left in this chapter, and they glorify Srimad Bhagavatam. And it so happened that I think, after lots of going back and forth, pushing, trying and everything, I think today I will get all the English Srimad Bhagavatam sets that you all requested. So I'll let you know and how much it will go and cost, how much discount I get. So I'm pretty sure today I will get it in the museum, in the Delhi temple. I tried to get it yesterday, Nakshatritiya day, but somehow it didn't work out. Anyways, so today we are going to glorify Bhagavatam. This is what Sudha Goswami is going to do in the shlokas. And today, hopefully, we'll get the English Bhagavatam sets. So text number 40. Itam Bhagavatam Nam Puranam Brahm Sammitam Uttam Shlok Charitam Chakara Bhagwan Rishihi Nishresaya Lokasya Dhanyam Swastyanamahat. This scripture, why this scripture? Sudha Goswami is saying, because in the previous verse, he talked about the inquiry. He said these inquiries are very glorious because they concern with Krishna. And this was a scripture, Srimad Bhagavatam. It's all inquiry and song of Krishna. This scripture named Srimad Bhagavatam is a literary incarnation of God. And it is compiled by Srila Vyasadeva, the incarnation of God. Now, funny thing is, in Bhagavatam, and this is all compiled by Vyasadeva, and he is saying this scripture is a literary incarnation of God and compiled by Srila Vyasadeva, who is also an incarnation of God. It is meant for the ultimate good of all people, and it is all successful, all blissful, and all. It is for ultimate Nishresaya. Nishreya. Again, the word Shreya came here, means the ultimate good. Nothing to do with this material world, that good, the benefit that it bestows upon us. It's all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. There's nothing wrong in Bhagavatam at any place. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu declared that Srimad Bhagavatam is a spotless, sound representation of all Vedic knowledge and history. There are selected histories of great devotees who are in direct contact with the personality of Godhead. Srimad Bhagavatam is a literary incarnation of Lord Shri Krishna and is therefore non-different from him. Is a literary incarnation and is therefore non-different from him. Srimad Bhagavatam should be worshipped as respectfully as we worship the Lord. So we are very fortunate that by mercy of Prabhupada, we can read the commentaries on Srimad Bhagavatam, we can read the commentaries on all the verses and try to assimilate, try to understand, try to implement those commentaries, those teachings. Thereby we can derive the ultimate blessings of the Lord through its careful and patient study. As God is all light, all bliss and all perfection, so also is Srimad Bhagavatam. We can all have the transcendental light of the Supreme Brahman, Shri Krishna, from the recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam. It is received through the medium of the transparent spiritual master. Lord Chaitanya's private secretary, Srila Swarup Damodar Goswami, advised all intending visitors who came to see the Lord at Puri to make a study of the Bhagavatam from the person Bhagavatam. So Bhagavatam has to be studied from a person Bhagavatam. Person Bhagavatam means Prabhupada writing, person Bhagavatam is a self-realized, bona fide spiritual master, and through him only one can understand the lessons of Bhagavatam in order to receive the desired truth. self-realized bona fide spiritual master. So bona fide means he first comes in parampara and he has realizations of Srimad Bhagavatam. In fact, if we ever, whenever we get a chance to go, called Tota Gopinath, very ancient, very beautiful temple. And in fact, deity of Tota Gopinath, it is said that is the first deity of the universe. That was created by Brahma himself. And that's when he created the first deity in this universe, and it was kept hidden underground for many, many ages, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself brought the deity out. And Gadadhar Pandit, who is incarnation of Srimati Radharani, he used to worship that deity. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was staying at Gambhira. Gambhira is near Jagannath temple, main temple. And he would go every day to Tota Gopinath to meet Gadadhar Pandit and read Srimad Bhagavatam every day. That was the pastime. Every day he would go there to read Srimad Bhagavatam. And in Srimad Bhagavatam, they were not reading only the 10th canto, the pastimes of Krishna are mentioned. He would read and discuss and then shed tears of ecstasy by reading the stories of Prahlad Maharaj and Dhruv Maharaj. So those are the two favorite stories that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to read from Srimad Bhagavatam. And it was so much so that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Gadadhar Pandit, means Radha and Krishna themselves, they would read these stories and they would shed tears, and so much so that all the ink from the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam, it was all smeared up. It was all smudged by the tears. I wouldn't say the pages, it was the leaves. It was written on the leaves at that time. And it was all smudged up by the tears flowing from the eyes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Gadadhar Pandit. I wish we can even get to see those leaves of Bhagavatam. Anyway, text 41. Tadidam grayamasa suttam atmavatam varam sarva vedita hasanam saram samudritam. Shri Vyasadeva delivered it to his son, who is the most respected among the self-realized, after extracting the cream of all Vedic literatures and histories of the universe. So, Srimad Bhagavatam, this is what Vyasadeva wrote. What is it? It's extracting the cream of all Vedic literatures and histories of the universe, not even the scriptures present on the earth. He got it from all over the universe. In the purport, Prabhupada writes, men with the poor fund of knowledge only accept the history of the world from the time of Buddha, or since 600 BC. In this period, all histories mentioned in the scriptures are calculated by them to be only imaginary stories. That is different. All stories mentioned in the Puranas and Mahabharata, etc., are actual histories, not only of this planet, but also millions of other planets within the universe. Sometimes the history of planets beyond this world appear to such men to be unbelievable. And that's why it's a very fashionable, common, popular term that is taught in our schools is mythology. Whenever it comes to Vedic literature, Vedic Puranas, the teachers very, openly and very they just shrug it off as, oh, this is all mythology, Hindu mythology. Mythology word comes from myth. Myth means fiction. It has no reality, no basis. It's all myth. And the mythology term comes from myth. Only the Britishers put this term in our curriculum just to put down the Vedic literatures. And proper, all the stories mentioned in the Puranas and Mahabharata, etc., actual histories, not only of this planet, but also millions of other planets within the universe. This is what Puranas and other scriptures teach about. They're the actual histories. They're the actual events. They're not mythology. They're not part of some made up fictional stories. So if we request to all the parents here, whenever you teach your kids some stories from scripture, do not say this is Hindu mythology. This is not mythology. Actually, in the Vedic Expo in the museum, we have these shows on Bhagavad Gita, Mahabharata, Ramayana. And whenever the teachers bring some students, many schools used to come that time, and I would sit there and preach to them, this is not mythology. These are actual histories of India. We should be proud of it. Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, that's all mythology. It's all myth. They don't never existed. These characters. But Krishna, Ram, Narsimhadev, Vamandev, Varadev, they are not mythological characters. They are avatars, actual persons who came and did the pastimes. Sometimes the history of planets beyond this world appear to such men to be unbelievable, but they do not know that different planets are not equal in all respects, and therefore some of the historical facts derived from other planets do not correspond with the experience of this planet. Considering the different situations of different planets and also time and circumstances, there is nothing wonderful in the stories of the Puranas, nor are they imaginary. We should always remember the maxim that one man's food is another man's poison. We should not therefore reject the stories and histories of Puranas as imaginary. The great rishis like Vyasa had no business putting some imaginary stories in their literatures. So they are great rishi like Vyasadeva. He had no business putting down some mythological or imaginary stories in the scriptures. They're all real. Everything happened. Maybe they're beyond our conception. We cannot conceive of how is it possible. That's a different story. But that doesn't mean these stories are wrong. These stories are false. So these stories are imaginary. And many times, even in India, big sadhus will say, oh no, this is not possible. It actually means this. It actually means that. Just like on WhatsApp messages, he wrote it down very beautifully, but actually it's all trash, whatever he wrote down, but the language is very nice. There's one man, he goes to Kurukshetra and he's trying to understand what happened there. And then another person comes and then he says, oh, Kurukshetra is this body, the five senses of the five Pandavas, Krishna is God, is a mind, and this and that. What nonsense are they talking about? Five Pandavas are not the five senses. Five Pandavas were there. They're real, live people who fought this big war. But people cannot understand. They try to give it such a twist just to make people understand. But these are not actual stories. These are just figurative, allegorical stories. You just need to derive some teachings from. Yes, we need to derive the teaching from these stories, but these stories, all these incidents did happen factually. Kurukshetra is not far away from Delhi. We can all go there. We can see the tree. Damodar Prabhu is planning a trip there sometime soon. We can see the tree under which the Bhagavad Gita was done. Of course, that battlefield is not there because all the houses are built and so many things are built there, and the other places connected with Mahabharata are also there. So this is history. This is what happened. In fact, it is said in Kurukshetra, the battle of Mahabharata, the arrows that were shot by Arjun and other soldiers, other warriors, they were nuclear weapons, actually. Of course, the trigger mechanism was not the one that we use today. The trigger mechanism was chanting of mantras. But they were nuclear weapons that were shot by Arjun and Karna and other warriors. And that's why the and so much of bloodshed happened. 640 million people died, and so many animals, so many other things happened, that the dirt, that the soil of Kurukshetra is still red in color. And scientists have taken and did the testing, and they do find some nuclear, the radioactive substance in the soil. Because so much of nuclear weapons were used by all these wars. And the nuclear weapons were arrows. They were using arrows. They were not just wooden arrows with steel tip. There were many more things going on at that time. We cannot even understand. We cannot even imagine right now. And this was only 5,000 years ago. What to speak of Ramayana that happened about 20 lakh years ago. What to speak of Narsimhadev Leela. Even if we consider this Satyuga, which happened before this Dwapar Yuga, Treta Yuga, and the Satyuga, because Narsimhadev comes every Satyuga. Those remnants of of his pastimes, of the pillar that he came out from, that's in Ahobilam, it is still there in South India. That ruins of the palace are still there. Everything is there. It just, we have to believe it. We have to have faith in it, and we have to trust. It's very easy to just say, oh, this is all mythology. This is all mythology. It just, Britishers have put that in our curriculum, and we just have no faith in our scriptures. We just say, how is it possible? How it can happen? It can happen. That's why Vyasadeva wrote it. It has happened. In Srimad Bhagavatam, historical facts selected from the histories of different planets have been depicted. Of course, not all the stories that are mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam are from Earth planet only. They're from different planets and different time zones. It is therefore accepted by all the spiritual authorities as a Mahapuran. The special significance of this series is that they're all connected with the activities of the Lord in a different time and atmosphere. Srila Shukdev Goswami is the topmost personality of all the self-realized souls, and he accepted this as a subject of studies from Father Veda. We have great authority, and the subject matter is so important. He delivered the message first to his great son, Srila Shukdev Goswami. It is compared to the cream of the milk. Vedic literature is like the milk ocean of knowledge. Cream or butter is the most palatable essence of milk, and so also is Srimad Bhagavatam, for it contains all palatable, instructive, and authentic versions of different activities of the Lord and His devotees. So that's why it is very important that we learn or we hear Srimad Bhagavatam from devotees. Bhagavad has to be learned from Bhagavatam, personal Bhagavatam. Otherwise, we'll have a wrong effect on us. By writing, milk is undoubtedly very good and nourishing, but when it is touched by the mouth of a snake, it is no longer nourishing. Rather, it becomes a source of death. Similarly, not strictly in the disciple should make business of this Bhagavatam and become a cause of spiritual death for so many hearers. So it kills the spiritual progress of the soul if we start listening to Bhagavatam from non-devotees, non-Vaishnavas. So text 42. Satu sanshravyamasa maharajam parikshitam prayopavishtam gangayam paritam paramarshibi. Shukdev Goswami, the son of Vyasadeva, in his turn delivered the Bhagavatam to the great emperor Parikshit, who sat surrounded by sages on the bank of the Ganges, awaiting death without taking food or drink. Prabhupada writes, all transcendent messages are received properly in the chain of disciplic succession. This disciplic succession is called parampara. Unless, therefore, Bhagavatam or any other Vedic literature through the parampara system, the reception of knowledge is not bona fide. Vyasadeva delivered the message to Shukdev Goswami, and from Shukdev Goswami, Suta Goswami received the message. And Vyasadeva got this message from Narad Muni himself. So that's why it comes in parampara. Narad Muni got it from four Kumaras got it from Narad, also got it from Brahmaji, and ultimately this message came from Krishna himself. So text 43, I think this is the last text. There's one more text. I'll try to finish both today. So Krishna Sudhamopgate Dharma Jnana Saha Kalo Nashta Drisha Mesha Pranarko Adunodita. This Bhagavad Puran is as brilliant as a sun, and it has arisen just after the departure of Lord Krishna to his own abode, accompanied by religion, knowledge, etc. Persons who have lived the Puran is as brilliant as a sun, and it has arisen when Krishna left for his own abode, and he took dharma and gyan, religion, knowledge, etc. He has taken with him. So then he left behind the Srimad Bhagavatam, especially for the people of age, and Vyasadeva compiled it, so it came in the written form, especially for people like us. So we can get knowledge, we can get vision, because we are blind in this dense darkness of ignorance. Ignorance is there in this age of Kali. So Bhagavatam has arisen just to give us this light of knowledge. So long purport, beautiful purport. And Prabhupada writes, while Krishna was present here, he exhibited everything by his different activities. He spoke Bhagavad Gita specifically and eradicated all pretentious principles of religiosity. And prior to his departure from this material world, he empowered Sri Vyasadeva through Narad to compile the messages of the Srimad Bhagavatam, and thus both the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam are like torch bearers for the blind people of this age. In other words, if men in this age of Kali want to see the real light of life, they must take to these two books only, and the aim of life will be fulfilled. Bhagavad Gita is a preliminary study of the Bhagavatam, and Srimad Bhagavatam is some bonum of life, Lord Shri Krishna personified. We must therefore accept Srimad Bhagavatam as a direct representation of Lord Krishna. One who can see Srimad Bhagavatam can see also Lord Shri Krishna in person. They are identical. But somehow, I don't know what Prabhupada's plan or Krishna's plan is. Our Bhagavad Gita classes are not going on regularly, and Bhagavatam classes are going on regularly. So we have already, I think you all must have studied Bhagavad Gita sometime, somehow. And that's why Krishna has allowed us to discuss Bhagavatam only in this class. So text 44. Tatra kirtayato vipra viparsher bhurite jasaha aham chadyagamam tatra niveshtastad anugrihad soham vaha shravyayeshvami yatha dhitam yatha matim. O learned Brahmins, when Shri Goswami recited Bhagavatam there in the presence of Emperor Parikshit, I heard Sutta Goswami saying, see, he heard him with rapt attention, and thus, by his mercy, I learned the Bhagavatam from that great and powerful sage. Now I shall try to make you hear the very same thing as I learned it from him and as I have realized it. Many qualities are required. Rapt attention, and he learned it from Shukdev Goswami, and he is not just learned it. Shukdev Goswami didn't do like parrot-like. Go ahead. One can certainly see directly the presence of Lord Shri Krishna in the pages of Bhagavatam. One has heard it from a such great soul like Dev Goswami. One cannot, however, learn Bhagavatam from a bogus, hired reciter whose aim of life is to earn out such recitation and deploy in the earning in such engines. No one can learn Srimad Bhagavatam who is associated with persons engaged in sex life. That is the state of learning Bhagavatam. Nor learn Bhagavatam from one who interprets a text by his mundane scholarship. So no more mundane interpretation is also helpful. One has to learn Bhagavatam from the representative of Shukdev Goswami and no one else if one at all wants to see Lord Shri Krishna in the pages. So we can see Lord Shri Krishna in the pages of Bhagavatam if we hear from a bona fide source such as Srila Prabhupada. Or even the Acharyas admitted that they see Srimati Radharani in every verse of every word of every verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. So the word Nivishta means that Sutta Goswami drank the juice of Bhagavatam through his ears. Wow. See how poetic it is. He drank the juice of Bhagavatam through his ears. That is a real process of Bhagavatam. One should hear with rapt attention from the real person, and then he can at once realize the presence of Lord Krishna in every page. No one can give attention who is not pure in mind. No one can be pure in mind who is not pure in action. No one can be pure in action who is not pure in eating, sleeping, fearing, and mating. Wonderful realization of Prabhupada. To give rapt attention, one has to be pure in mind. To be pure in mind, one has to be pure in action. And to be pure in action, one has to be pure in all the four activities: eating, sleeping, fearing, or defending, and mating. Brother, one hears with rapt attention from the right person. At the very beginning, one can assuredly see Lord Krishna in person in the pages of Bhagavatam. So this ends this. I'll stop here. See anybody any questions or comments.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Krishna Prabhu.
Prabhuji, you said it that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu read Srimad Bhagavatam from the leaves. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is hardly 500 years history. So where did he get these leaves from? Where they were preserved?
I think Gadadhar Pandit brought them from, Gadadhar Pandit from Navadvip. The leaves were copied. So this was done, the Brahmins used to copy those leaves from original Bhagavatam to other leaves and they would be given to people. This was how knowledge was transferred.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Not from original Bhagavatam, they were copied.
Because we saw that original Bhagavatam, then the leaves had been transferred into the stones when we visited that Ganesh Gufa near Badrinath.
Yeah. So they were copied by Brahmins.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
You're welcome. And now it is so easy for us. We just order a set of Bhagavatam from ISKCON temple and we can get it in few days. And still we don't get a chance to read. That's a problem. So any other question or comment? So I guess everybody is ready to go to work or they are at work and ready to start their work. So please continue on with your wonderful day. Have a wonderful day. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.